Lu Chuan entered the Genius Battle Finals already strong enough to terrify humanity's immortals. Then the Trial Tower gave him a stage where hiding his talent stopped making sense. His entries now included soul protection, enormous life genes, and terrifying law comprehension. Clearing impossible trials would force humanity's highest leaders to investigate his entire past. That investigation pointed back toward the one secret Lu Chuan wanted protected most: Earth. Giant Axe and the Chaos City Lord soon discovered why that tiny planet was extraordinary. Lu Chuan answered their pressure by accelerating his cultivation toward the Realm Lord level. His next purple gold entry would eventually let him step directly into the River of Time. Realm, Stellar level 9th Order, 50 times the life gene. Self-created secret technique, Wind and Flower Sword technique, Immortal level common secret technique. Insights into the laws. Law of Wind 9.99%, Law of Space 3.24%. Currently loaded entries, Amazing Comprehension Gold, God of Laws Gold, Clone Technique Red, Behemoth Body Red, Peak, Bloodline Purple, Pioneer Purple, Dual Realms of Ice and Fire Purple, 20 out of 20. Compared to 3 years ago, the panel hasn't changed much. The newly appeared red entry in the entry list is Behemoth Overlord, Behemoth Body Red, a special physique that has a very low chance of awakening in the king of the behemoth race. Note 1. The behemoth royal family will never be enslaved and is completely immune to all forms of mental or soul enslavement control attacks. This is a term related to a special physical condition. Not only did it increase Lu Chuan's life gene count by 50 times, making him much stronger than most universe venerables. In fact, there aren't that many things that devour the universe. Most of them are just laws that control things like time stopping. Even the greatest geniuses and powerful figures would show some fear. That is the enslavement of the soul. Koti refused to be enslaved by his soul and was subsequently subjected to special methods by the alien races, which completely annihilated his soul. This was also a source of lifelong pain for the Lord of Chaos City. It not only weakens most material controls, but also achieves a domineering effect of complete immunity to soul controls. Even if Lu Chuan encounters those venerables and immortals who are skilled in soul attacks in the future, he will no longer need to worry about soul enslavement and control. Moreover, this effect, when combined with the clone technique, because clones can be infinitely created, and there's no longer any need to worry about the soul being controlled or enslaved. Even if the alien race assassinated his clone, he could simply expend some resources to create another one. With this behemoth body, I don't have to worry about assassination and can unleash my talents with peace of mind. Once I receive more resources from the human race, my progress will far exceed the expectations of the alien races. By the time they decide to start a war, I might already have the combat power of a universe master, or even a true. Lu Chuan smiled. The existence of the behemoth body could be said to have made up for his last weakness. This battle of geniuses may be the most powerful battle of geniuses in human history, and my name will be known throughout the entire primordial universe from this moment on. With a murmur, Lu Chuan quietly awaited the start of the finals. A large number of geniuses arrived at a floating island on the continent of Ganwu via teleportation. A large number of geniuses have gathered here. At first glance, there are hundreds of people, both men and women, with different appearances, and each of them exudes a profound aura. Let alone the Ganwu Universe Kingdom, even if we consider the entire human race. He belongs to a class of geniuses. Compared to them, the geniuses of the Ganwu Universe Kingdom paled in comparison. Lu Chuan smiled as he looked at Luo Feng and Rong Jun. So, is there any hope of making it into the top two? Lu Chuan pondered for a moment, then suddenly asked Luo Feng. Don't worry, Brother Lu. I'm not the same person I used to be. Although I can't defeat you yet, the secret technique you used before can't stop me. Luo Feng patted his chest and said confidently. He didn't know why Lu Chuan was so insistent on winning second place, but that didn't diminish Luo Feng's confidence in his own abilities. Good lad, then I'll be waiting for you. Lu Chuan laughed heartily. Rong Jun heard the two talking, and his eyes flickered slightly as he looked at Lu Chuan. In the finals, I hope you can have a serious match with me. Luo Feng and Rong Jun are both battle maniacs. No problem, provided you still have confidence. Lu Chuan smiled and didn't refuse, but instead said something meaningful that left the two of them puzzled. Even though they are not as good as Lu Chuan now, the two of them have never lost the courage to take on challenges. Because one of the immortal leaders from the Ganwu Universe Kingdom had arrived at the plaza, his powerful aura, exuding a strong bloodlust, instantly filled the entire plaza. I will lead the team in this battle of geniuses. You can call me Lord 13. The immortal powerhouse with the massive body said coldly to the group of geniuses. Your Highness Lu Chuan, Rong Jun, Luofeng, the king has high expectations for you and hopes that you will do your best to achieve a high ranking in the fight. 13 is a marquis who has achieved immortality. In terms of status and strength, he far surpasses the other three. 13 didn't say anything to the others. Whether out of disdain or indifference, he simply waved his hand, enveloping everyone in his presence. They soon arrived at a dimensional space specially created by the Virtual Universe Company. They attracted the attention of countless geniuses and powerful individuals from other cosmic nations. Are these the geniuses of the Ganwu Universe Kingdom? The Ganwu Universe Kingdom has truly shone brightly among the human race this time. In the Ganwu Universe Kingdom team, Lu Chuan walked discreetly at the front of the crowd. Hearing these discussions, he simply smiled and didn't pay much attention to them. They were all geniuses, and after 4 years of progress, they didn't think they were much worse than Luo Feng and the other two. Their fame hadn't spread to other universes. The 13 Divine Generals didn't care about such trivial matters. They led the group of geniuses to the entrance of the building, assigned to them by the Ganwu Universe Kingdom, and waved their hands. All right, here are your number tags. Take these tags and find your rooms. Lu Chuan's number is 1. Luo Feng's is 2. Rong Jun's is 3. And Hong and Lei Shen's are 4 and 5, respectively. These 5 people are also the 5 most promising to break into the top 1,000 in the Ganwu Universe Kingdom. You are free to disperse. You can go find other geniuses to exchange ideas. Or you can go back to your rooms to rest now. After the 13 Divine Generals finished speaking, they transformed into a streak of light and quickly disappeared from the square. Ganwu Universe Kingdom will definitely be able to compete for first place. Let's go. Let's get some rest too. After 13 left, Lu Chuan smiled and said to the people next to him. In the evening, the 9 Swords Venerable gathered them together and announced some specific competition rules. They would be assigned to the trial space the next day. Aren't we going to communicate? He had seen many geniuses in the square, including Berlan and the Prince of Monka Star, who were renowned geniuses among humans. You'll face each other sooner or later. Do you think exchanging a few words will improve your strength? Lu Chuan shook his head slightly. Instead of wasting time, it would be better to continue to comprehend the laws or delve into secret techniques. If it were a battle, he would be happy to oblige. He turned to look at Luo Feng, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. Luo Feng. Then let's forget about it. Luo Feng quickly shook his head. If he were to encounter Rong Jun in the competition, he would be happy to fight him. The people around them chuckled at the sight. The group entered the building, found their own rooms, and then waited for the finals to begin. All participants from the 1008 Universe Nation assemble at the central square. The sound caused many geniuses to instinctively fly out of the room. Even with Lu Chuan's incredibly powerful understanding of the laws and his consciousness, he could not resist the deep pull of the sound. An invisible wave permeated Lu Chuan's consciousness, allowing him to regain control of his body. He was now flying into the air, about to fly out of his room's window. That voice was clearly the voice of the host of this year's Genius Battle, the famous Cosmic Venerable. 9 Swords Venerable! Sure enough, as Lu Chuan released the traction, a voice filled with doubt and surprise reached his ears. Figure appeared before him, a handsome man wearing a cyan battle robe and with purple scales on his head. He looked at Lu Chuan with a face full of curiosity. He is a high-level Cosmic Venerable one. Although he did not use a very strong soul power, this is still not something that a small guy of the stellar level can. Even if this little guy has some treasure, it's impossible for him to transcend reality and be transported into the virtual universe. Either his soul is exceptionally powerful, he's learned some special secret technique to resist soul attacks, or his will has achieved immortality. All of this demonstrates the extraordinary nature of this little guy. You must be Lu Chuan from the Ganwu Universe Kingdom, right? The 9 Swords Venerable looked at Lu Chuan, his eyes flashing with information, and then spoke. The other party is a venerable figure from the Virtual Universe Company and the host of the Genius Battle. Their licensing authority is frighteningly high. No, after this, even if I have to choose a weaker special life form, I must nurture a venerable one. Lu Chuan was facing a venerable stranger, and at that moment he felt an extreme sense of urgency. He originally intended to wait until he became a realm lord, before nurturing 3 more special life forms. Whether it's the 9 Nether Sea or the World Tree, They are either beings with thousands of life genes or special beings with unique. This is far beyond what Lu Chuan's current stellar-level cultivation level can produce. So even though Lu Chuan has 3 clone slots, he has been unable to choose to cultivate a clone. Faced with a powerful being at the venerable level, Lu Chuan felt a sense of crisis about having to create a clone. Even if his main body is captured by the Nine Swords Venerable, at least one of his clones will survive. Although the chances of the Nine Swords Venerable attacking me in the present world are very low, there is no guarantee that there are spies planted by alien races within the human race. If they attack me before entering the initial universe, then I will be really doomed. It's a pity that such a promising talent was taken as a disciple by Venerable Ganwu ahead of time. The Nine Swords Venerable was unaware of Lu Chuan's thoughts. He simply felt a pang of regret. It's a pity that I lost a promising talent who had the potential to become a venerable one. All right, that soul pull was just to bring you all together. I didn't expect you to have the ability to resist. How powerful is the consciousness of the Nine Swords Venerable? As for what to explain, did he, a cosmic venerable, need to explain to a stellar-level being? Even if Lu Chuan has the potential to become a strong person in the future, Lu Chuan is not yet worthy of the Nine Swords Venerable's attention. Even after being led to the plaza by the Nine Swords Venerable, Lu Chuan's heart was still in turmoil. He didn't even listen to the Nine Swords Venerable's words and arrangements. For Lu Chuan now, there is no need to waste time at all. The Nine Swords Venerable was the first to leave the square, and the geniuses also dispersed. Lu Chuan didn't greet Luo Feng and the others again, but hurriedly returned to his room and quickly logged out of the virtual universe. Inside an incredibly luxurious manner, Lu Chuan burst out of a secret room and found the immortal Marquis who was guarding him. Lord Wuxuan, please take me to find my teacher as soon as possible. This is the finals. Why has your highness left the virtual universe? There's no time to explain. I have something important that I need the teacher's help with, Lu Chuan said anxiously, without offering any explanation. He no longer cared about the immortal title bestowed upon him. He grabbed Lu Chuan's arm and activated the Divine Kingdom teleportation. Soon, their figures disappeared from the Ganwu secret realm and arrived at another special space in the Ganwu universe kingdom. A colossal figure opened its eyes and uttered a magnificent voice like the booming of a great bell. He then received a report from Marquis Wuxuan. Speak, my most beloved disciple. What do you need my help with? The enormous figure then turned its gaze to Lu Chuan. He is the ruler of the Ganwu universe kingdom, Lu Chuan's first teacher, and the first villain in the universe. The Venerable Ganwu. When Luin saw the Venerable Ganwu, his anxiety finally subsided a bit. As a cosmic venerable one, at this time, the Cloud Beast was a special life form, born in the early days of the primordial universe. It possessed 180 times the life genes, and was skilled in the laws of time and light. Most importantly, when the Cloud Beast was killed by the Dry Witch Venerable, it was only at the stellar level. When Lu Chuan learned of this news, he actually considered creating a clone of the Cloud Beast during its gestation period. But after careful consideration, he gave up the idea. It was entirely because the life genes of the Time Cloud Beast did not meet his expectations. 180 times to a perfect life, or even a perfect divine body. It would be better to choose a special life form with thousands of life genes, which would not only greatly enhance its strength. Lu Chuan had no choice. You have the ability to create clones? A look of surprise appeared on the face of the Dry Witch Venerable, and he then asked, only the secret technique of creating clones. Teacher, I had a fortuitous encounter and possessed the body of a golden-horned giant beast that possessed the secret technique of creating clones. Lu. As for whether the sorcerer believes it or not, he cannot guarantee it. However, the master-disciple relationship is extremely close in the universe, and Ganwu would not attack him for a golden-horned behemoth. If we were to make a move against a genius within our own race, the human race would probably be the first to object. Which of the powerful beings who grew up in the primordial universe doesn't have a few secrets? I can give you the genetic material. But this material is extremely precious. If I give you one, then I will only have the last one left. I hope you can win first place this time and achieve an even better result than in previous genius battles. The Venerable Ganwu said in a deep voice. Not all first-place winners are the same. The rewards that the clan can give to a genius of 100,000 epochs are different from those of a genius of one. With a clone, one can act boldly, and he also knew why Ganwu was doing this. Since that's the case, then I'll strive for an achievement that even Ganwu wouldn't have expected. thereby increasing my own chances. The venerable Ganwu nodded slightly and handed a special genetic material to Lu Chuan. With this material, Lu Chuan was able to create his own clone. You don't need to go back to the Ganwu's secret realm. Go back and participate in the finals as soon as possible. Ganwu waved his hand, creating a secret chamber and sending Lu Chuan inside. The door to the secret room was symbolically closed. Finally, he closed his eyes, connected with a clone world within his body, and absorbed the genetic material into it. The inner world, it does resemble the golden horned beast. It seems this disciple has indeed had some opportunities. But that's a good thing. The primordial star. If I could have a venerable one as a helper, wouldn't things be different? The venerable Ganwu glanced at the secret chamber, then closed his eyes and fell into deep thought. Lu Chuan felt the speed of the pregnancy within him, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. In just 1 year, he will be able to nurture the Time Cloud Beast clone, at which point he will have a true clone. The golden horned behemoth that Luofeng possessed would take several years to conceive an ordinary life form, and even longer, decades or centuries. In terms of time, it saves an immeasurable amount. Moreover, Lu Chuan can immediately put his clones to use. As for my clone, I can stay with my teacher to comprehend the laws. With a venerable one watching over me, my safety can be guaranteed. In this way, whether he goes to the initial universe or cultivates in the core secret realm of the virtual universe company, he no longer needs to worry about being assassinated by alien races. This time, the records of the trial tower must be reorganized for the higher-ups of the human race. The higher the talent, the more attention they will attract from the higher-ups. Although the Nine Swords Venerable's soul pull caused him to reveal some abnormalities, this was not necessarily a bad thing. After all, he had been struggling with what kind of strength he should show in this genius battle. But now that his clone is almost fully formed, what does he have to fear? Just reveal your full strength. In any case, given his speed of progress in the laws, 30 years in the initial universe would be enough for him to make significant progress again, and he might even be able to multiply his existing understanding of the laws several times over. Just as Lu Chuan was developing his clone, a day passed in the blink of an eye. Everyone, please get ready. We will soon be teleporting all participants to our designated trial space. A clear and melodious voice suddenly rang in the minds of all the geniuses. And then a white light flashed. A white light appeared, and Lu Chuan had been teleported to a star meteorite with a diameter of over 100 kilometers. Directly in front of him were 7 trial towers. Contestant, Lu Chuan Ganwu Universe Kingdom. The trial space consists of 7 trial towers, with increasing difficulty. Clearing each tower awards points. For example, the first tower awards 70,000 points, the second 700,000 points, and so on. Up to the 7th level, completing all levels will earn you 700 trillion points. Lu Chuan glanced at the competition rules provided by Virtual Universe Company, a slight smile appearing on his lips. Since the trial tower was created, it seems that no one has ever been able to clear all of the trial towers. Lu Chuan transformed into a streak of light and rushed directly into the first trial tower. We just entered the tower. First level of the first level. 10,000 ferocious beasts, blood-haired mammoths. Lu Chuan shouted towards the trial tower. 10,000 blood-haired mammoths appeared out of thin air in the first trial space. Upon discovering Lu Chuan, the only living person, they roared and charged at him, seemingly about to trample him to death or devour him with their gaping maws. Lu Chuan merely smiled slightly and uttered 4 words, "Domain deployment," and space permeated the area. Lu Chuan headed towards the 2nd floor of the trial tower, a special dimension in the virtual universe. After Lu Chuan and other geniuses entered the trial space, the thousands of immortals, they sat casually in various parts of the square, watching the electronic screens in the air, broadcasting the trial space, and murmured in amazement. With the wind domain enhancing the spatial laws and some special secret techniques, he actually cleared the first trial tower in an instant. Teske, the 2nd trial tower won't hold him for long either, and he's already entered the 3rd trial tower. Although he is not as fast as Lu Chuan, he is now far ahead of the other contestants, and is in 2nd place. Luo Feng Rongjun and others have also made it into the top 20. 13. Your Ganwu Universe Kingdom has really struck gold. With 3 people in the top 20, the test focuses on each participant's strength, laws, domains, and secret techniques. Although it is not absolute, the ranking of the trial tower reflects the ranking of the subsequent finals. His strength is simply unmatched by any of the other contestants. Oh, Lu Chuan has entered the 7th level of the 4th trial tower. This is the Zerg Mother Hive, and it already has considerable combat power. Let's see how he deals with it. The 4th trial tower was enough to make many participants withdraw from the competition. But just as this immortal finished speaking, and the other immortals began to check Lu Chuan's livestream, the 4th trial tower had already been cleared by Lu Chuan. There has never been such a speed. In the previous virtual universe genius battle, I remember now, it seems that the Venerable One's guidance that day was somewhat flawed, unprecedented and unparalleled. Could Lu Chuan really possibly clear all 7 trial towers? The immortals in the central square all stood up in disbelief, staring at the live broadcast screen on the square with expressions of shock. This is a record that no one has ever achieved since the beginning of the Battle of Geniuses. When they participated in the Genius Battle, at most only managed to reach the 4th level of the 7th trial tower. This is not because they lacked talent, because the trial tower was designed from the beginning to make it impossible for these geniuses to pass some levels. Light is the 1st level of the 7th trial tower. Each blood mammoth possesses the strength of one of the top 100 geniuses in the finals. Without overwhelming strength, there is absolutely no hope of getting through. The 9-headed serpent is a monster, each head possessing the skill level of a top 10 genius in the finals. There are 10,000 of them, and the monsters are also intelligent, capable of launching attacks or encirclings and capturing each other. As for the 3rd layer, it is entirely composed of 1,000 metallic lifeforms, the Douluo race warriors, whose defenses are virtually impenetrable, making them several times stronger than the 2nd layer. The 4th level is inhabited by 1,000 strange cosmic creatures called Flying Ho, each possessing its own unique innate secret techniques. Many geniuses with extraordinary talent spanning tens of millions of eras have fallen on this level, and beyond became a challenge that even these stellar-level geniuses could not overcome, because the 5th level contains 100 mechanical puppets. Not only are their realms and understanding of laws profound, but they can also combine to form a special battle formation of the mechanical. If they join forces, they'll be able to crush all geniuses. The 6th level is home to 10 colossal star beasts called Kang, possessing the strength of geniuses spanning tens of millions of epochs, insights into laws, life genes, innate secrets. The 7th floor is even more abnormal. It is a Zerg mother hive with the strength of a world lord. Once it breeds an infinite number of Zerg, even an immortal military lord might not be able to break through it. Those geniuses who are only at the stellar level and have only cultivated for decades or hundreds of years are already among the most outstanding beings in all of humanity, if they can reach the 4th level, because we know how difficult it is. After their initial shock, the immortals murmured, passing all 7 trial towers is unlikely, but the 5th level is still possible. Could it be that another powerful venerable being is about to be born? No matter what, Lu Chuan's talent has already surpassed that of geniuses of the Million Era. He will at least be a powerful being among the kings and immortals in the future. In a spot in the central square unseen by the others, the 9 Swords Venerable's face was filled with regret. Others might not understand, but he genuinely believed that Lu Chuan would definitely be able to break through to the Venerable realm. His comprehension of spatial laws is exceptionally good. He has a great chance of passing the 5th level, and as for the 6th level, 9 Swords Venerable shook his head slightly. After clearing the 5th level of the 7th trial tower, the level of the 4th level of the Sky Bridge was already achieved. The difference between the two may seem to be only 1 level, but in terms of understanding the laws and the bridge to heaven, it is a difference of 2 levels, a gap that many geniuses find difficult to cross in their entire lives. 9 Swords Venerable looked up at the screen. The screen showed Lu Chuan's live stream of his progress through the challenges. At this point, Lu Chuan had reached the 7th floor of the 5th trial tower. All the insectoids, compared to the ferocious beasts and monsters in the previous levels, could only last a little longer in front of him. The Zerg hive seems to be nothing special after all, but the 9 Swords Venerable murmured softly. The 7th level of the Zerg is equivalent to the 7th level of the bridge to heaven. It would still be difficult for a genius to pass the 7th level in millions of epochs. He has a good chance of becoming a great being, like the ruler of the universe in the future. Can you really achieve that? Lu Chuan strolled leisurely through the desolate space inside the tower. Nearby, a herd of blood-haired mammoths roared, ready to tear him apart. Compared to the blood-haired mammoths of the first trial tower, these blood-haired mammoths are dozens or even hundreds of times stronger. With tens of thousands of law geniuses besieging them, the vast majority of them could not withstand the attack. It's still something that can be easily solved, simply by expanding the scope of the domain. Lu Chuan frowned slightly when he used his domain. Logically speaking, it should be comparable to the secret technique at the peak of the immortal level. Even after merging with the domain, it only reaches the level of an ordinary immortal level secret technique, far from the power of a complete secret technique. The fusion domain should theoretically enhance the power of secret techniques, but in his case, it actually weakens them. But then another problem arose. Even if it's Lu Chuan's own innate secret technique at the peak of the immortal level, continuing to use this technique will only increase Lu Chuan's burden. The domain can save me the effort required for my secret techniques, but its power is reduced by several levels. Is there a way to both increase the power of the fusion and allow for continuous use? Suddenly, the golden phrase amazing comprehension in Lu Chuan's mind emitted a dazzling golden light. He shut down all his senses and even forgot that he was in the trial space of the virtual universe company. The only thing that can be done is to find a better way to integrate the secret arts and the domain. The wind law he comprehended at this moment, under a strange fluctuation, surpassed the limit he had been holding back all along. Inside a special sealed room, an incomparably powerful aura of law descended upon this space, with countless cyan secret patterns flowing around it. The entire space was filled with an incredibly warm breeze, with just a slight touch. The venerable Ganwu was sitting in his seat, connecting to the virtual universe and comprehending his own secret techniques. But he woke up immediately when the fluctuations of the laws descended. He stared in astonishment at the law fluctuations descending from the sky. He knew all too well what the arrival of such fluctuations meant. The acknowledgement of the fundamental law. At this age, at this level, he has already gained the recognition of the origin law. The venerable Ganwu thought with horror. Lu Chuan is a stellar-level life form. If such a prodigy is leaked, it will inevitably lead to assassination attempts by other races. I'm not afraid of venerable level figures, but I am afraid of overlords and universe lords forcibly assassinating him. The venerable Ganwu frowned slightly and immediately exercised his permission. Lord of Chaos City, Lord of Dragons, Lord of Ice Peak, with the protection of these three cosmic rulers, Lu Chuan's safety can be adequately guaranteed. The venerable Ganwu looked excitedly into the secret chamber and murmured, "My good disciple, I will rely on you to repay my debts. The tribe may not completely forgive his debts, but it can definitely reduce the vast majority of them. With his contributions over the countless years, he will surely be able to fully repay the tribe's debts." The space around Lu Chuan suddenly trembled. A pale blue drop of water appeared out of thin air above Lu Chuan's head and then fell down toward his brow. When the drop of blue water reached Lu Chuan's dantian, it suddenly stopped, turning its body as if somewhat confused. Why is there no world lord? After a moment of confusion, the cyan droplet eventually merged itself into Lu Chuan's special clone world, which then turned it into a light cyan color. As the blue light spread, Lu Chuan's brow twitched involuntarily a few times. 10.1%, 10.2%, 10.3%. Having gained the recognition of the laws, Lu Chuan's consciousness now possesses the qualification to enter the ocean of laws. He can enter the ocean of the wind laws at any time. However, Lu Chuan has no interest in entering the ocean of primordial laws right now. Under the dual mystical effects of enlightenment and the recognition of the laws, Lu Chuan closed his eyes, and the invisible domain gradually contracted around him, eventually only maintaining a range of about 100 meters around him. Instead, they formed an impenetrable blue wind wall, blocking the roaring, blood-haired mammoths from entering. Therefore, Lu Chuan plans to follow Luo Feng's example and make the most of the 10 days in the trial tower. My wind law was somewhat restricted before, which made it less smooth. Now that I've broken through the level recognized by the law, it's time to truly unleash my innate secret techniques. In addition, I have always used the law of wind and air combination. The fact that I can integrate them to this extent is already my current limit. It is necessary to combine the laws of time to form a unique fusion domain and achieve a balance among the three. A rudimentary form of the law of fusion. No, it's merely a method of applying the law, but if used properly, my strength can be greatly enhanced. He didn't even notice that his panel had changed silently at that moment. Law of time 1.99%. Law of fire 5.5%. Law of water 5.5%. Currently loaded entry. Amazing comprehension gold. Evolving. Host detected to have activated hidden mode. The entry system has evolved to version 2.0. Every 100 years thereafter, the host will be guaranteed to draw one purple entry. In each era, the host will be guaranteed to draw one golden keyword. Enable the maximum number of entries and corresponding entry analysis. Current term limit, purple gold quality. Red terms applies to the level from Supreme to Universe Lord. Gold terms applies to the level from Universe Lord to True God. Purple gold terms transcends the primal universe level. Amazing comprehension gold to unparalleled comprehensions, purple gold. Unparalleled comprehension, purple gold. Even in the origin continent, your comprehension remains unparalleled. Possessing unparalleled comprehension that crushes all geniuses in the primordial universe, you can actively perform sudden enlightenment. After the entry successfully evolved, Luchuan's epiphany and insights rose to several levels once again. Things that were incomprehensible in the past now seem to have an answer in front of him. The surface of the law, the essence of the law. It is an opportunity that could drive even the Lord of the Universe mad. On the Special Dimension Plaza, thousands of immortals stared at the screens of their heads with puzzled expressions. What's wrong with Lu Chuan? Why has he suddenly stopped attacking and started to defend instead? 13. The little guys from your Ganwu Universe Kingdom are really interesting. Do they think the Trial Tower is a place for cultivation? How much change can one expect in a year of cultivation? For them, a year is insignificant. Sometimes, they can spend decades, centuries in even Xinglai. On the blink of an eye, while in seclusion. It actually feels like a last-minute attempt to cram. This is not the attitude of a strong person. His Highness Lu Chuan must have gained some new insights. Just wait. I believe His Highness Lu Chuan will definitely surprise you all this time. As a subordinate of the venerable Ganwu, he knew far more about this prince than these immortals. Lu Chuan must have his reasons for doing this. Could Luo Feng also bring them a miracle? Time passed by, day by day. Even though 2 months have passed, he still holds the top spot in the rankings. And due to the 10-day time limit, he has now entered the 7th level of the 6th trial tower, the Zerg Mother Nest. However, this is not a good thing. The Zerg hive is becoming more and more complete. If Lu Chuan doesn't make a move soon, he will gather a large number of Zerg warriors and devour him, as possible to have a chance to enter the next trial tower. Even Luo Feng, when he reached the 4th trial tower, did not dare to delay for another 10 days. He only persisted for 1 or 2 more days based on his own ability. I've been in the trial tower, where the Zerg Mother Nest is located, for 9 days now. They may not be very strong individually, but their collective strength is a nightmare that makes the entire universe tremble with fear. The Zerg hive is fully formed, and neither its own defenses nor those of the Zerg swarm are easily breached. Even if Lu Chuan attacks now, the result will be the same. Perhaps then, he will have a chance to enter the 7th trial tower. An immortal shook his head and sighed. In the entire central square, almost no one believed that Lu Chuan could pass the 7th level. 13 clenched his huge fist and looked at Lu Chuan with a nervous expression. Although Lu Chuan's current performance makes it a certainty that he will enter the finals, this does not meet the requirements of the king. Just when everyone was anxious for Lu Chuan, after 2 whole months of enlightenment, Lu Chuan finally came to his senses. He looked at the densely packed Zerg warriors in front of him, but his expression remained unchanged. After browsing the changes that had occurred, a look of understanding appeared on his face. He said that his sudden enlightenment was too great, and no matter how powerful the amazing comprehension attribute was, it turns out that both the entries and the system have been upgraded and evolved. However, after this evolution, my strength has increased to a terrifying level. Lu Chuan smiled as he looked at his status. Self-created secret techniques. Wind and flower sword technique immortal level common secret technique. Wind annihilation domain immortal level peak level. Law of time 2.80%. Law of fire 5.5%. Law of water 5.5%. Currently loaded entries. Enlightenment to the heavens purple gold. God of laws gold. Clone technique red. Behemoth body red. My understanding of the law of wind has reached 18%. And I have also made great progress in the 2 superior laws of. The biggest change is that Lu Chuan has now grasped the true way to combine domain and secret techniques. Above that lies the ultimate secret technique. The virtual universe doesn't help much in comprehending the laws. Lu Chuan murmured to himself. The greatest benefit of his 60 days of enlightenment was that he achieved a true integration of the domain and the secret techniques. Lu Chuan looked at the group of Zerg warriors around him, a slight smile curving his lips. The familiar domain fluctuations unfolded once more, and the previously blocking wind wall immediately transformed into countless wind blades, shooting towards the Zerg warriors in all directions as the domain expanded. Wherever the wind blades passed, all the Zerg warriors were instantly annihilated. They quickly covered the entire trial space on the 7th floor. The domain possesses not only wind blades, formed from the condensation of the laws of wind. I have already grasped a few of the profound mysteries of the two laws of space-time. Once I enter Chaos City, the profound mysteries of the two laws will not be too difficult for me. At this very moment, the massive Zerg Mother Hive, as tall as dozens of buildings, had been reduced to a complete ruin under the cover of a huge amount of law particles. A flash of white light, and Luchuan had been teleported to the first floor of the 7th trial tower. When 13 saw that Luchuan had woken up, a smile immediately appeared on his face. He quickly said to the few immortals he knew, "See? Now, as long as His Highness can hold on for another day, he will definitely achieve a good ranking in the 7th trial tower." Those immortals and 13 were great beings who had known each other for many years, and it was common for them to joke around with each other. But then, one of the immortals opened his eyes wide and pointed to the electronic screen in the sky with a look of surprise. Luchuan's domain has changed, and at a much faster pace than before. This immortal voice drew everyone's attention back to the electronic screen. It's a superficial application of time acceleration. Although it's not as good as true time acceleration, it can still increase the speed of the domain somewhat. Both the two supreme laws of space and time have three major branch secret techniques. The laws of space are spatial sealing, spatial strangulation, and spatial teleportation. Although Sluchuan had not yet fully comprehended the secret technique of time acceleration, a branch of the law of time. While this might seem insignificant compared to venerables or even immortal kings, it is extremely extraordinary at the stellar level. This means that Luchuan's understanding of the laws of time has definitely surpassed the 2% level. Didn't Luchuan comprehend the laws of space? An immortal was shocked and couldn't help but question it. Even a lower-level law is incredibly difficult to cultivate, let alone cultivating two higher-level laws simultaneously. Could only set his sights on the two laws of wind and space. His understanding of the laws of time is even higher than Berlan's. We all thought Berlan was arrogant and wanted to understand the laws of space-time at the same time. We never expected that this guy would be even more heaven-defying, having already made such a long progress at the stellar level. Although these immortals have not comprehended many laws, they have lived for a long time, seen countless geniuses. But someone as extraordinary as Luchuan, he comprehended the three laws at the stellar level. No, perhaps he comprehended even more. Such a genius, even the Lord of the Universe, might not be his limit. The immortal looked at the electronic screen, his eyes filled with anticipation. Luchuan teleported here and looked at the 10,000 blood-haired mammoths that were comparable to the top 100 geniuses. He did not make any major moves, but simply unleashed his domain. The invisible domain, accelerated by time, covered the entire first floor in a mere instant. This group of blood-haired mammoths, comparable to the top 100 geniuses, was no different from domesticated poultry raised by humans on Earth in front of Luchuan. It was a one-sided massacre. No matter how many enemies there are, no matter how talented they are, they will only face one fate in the face of them: death. Single-handedly, it led humanity from a weak race to a dominant one. It not only dominated the entire primordial universe, even in the vast universe, he reigned supreme, looking down upon the world with unparalleled arrogance. Luchuan made no progress in the 7th trial tower, breaking through 5 layers in succession, like a hot knife through butter. However, this is not because he is inferior to Kang, but because he wants to analyze Kang's laws. The giant star beasts are all descended from the bloodlines of the former beast gods. This is excellent reference material for Luchuan, who is currently researching this area. The virtual universe is ultimately just virtual. They also arrived at the final level of the 7th trial tower, a Zerg hive of the World Lord level. When Luchuan was teleported to the 7th floor, his expression immediately became serious. Who was likely dozens or even hundreds of times stronger than the 6th level. But Luchuan soon breathed a sigh of relief. That's right. If it really comes down to taking this Zerg hive at the World Lord level, the true Zerg hive is a being comparable to, or even more powerful, than a World Lord War General. If it weren't for the extreme difficulty for the Zerg to break through to immortality. Although the Zerg Mother Hive in front of us is indeed at the World Lord level, its aura has long since declined. Let alone nurturing World Lord level Zerg warriors. It would probably struggle even to nurture Domain Lord level ones. It could only barely nurture a few. As for Cosmic level Zerg warriors, he can breed as many as he wants, if their numbers are too large. However, the mother nest has only just been formed. This is precisely Lu Chuan's opportunity. Come on, let me see just how powerful the Zerg hive really is. Lu Chuan smiled and rushed towards the massive hive like a gust of wind. A major battle between the two sides is imminent. Lu Chuan smiled slightly, revealing all his insights into the laws that he had kept hidden for many years. The secret patterns of the law of wind appeared on his forehead. Tens of thousands of illusory bodies appeared in the trial space, and the accelerated time allowed the domain. Points: 7,777,777,777. Just as Lu Chuan passed through the trial tower, an email was silently sent to all existing universe rulers and the three top universe overlords, and was issued as a reminder almost forcibly. Inside the ancient city, standing amidst endless chaos, he separated a tiny wisp of his consciousness and entered the virtual universe, where he quickly received the email. This figure exuded a powerful aura, and his enormous face, unlike any humans, showed a look of emotion unseen for countless eons. He is the pillar of the human race. Peak Fifth Order Universe Master, the City Lord of Chaos City, the Chaos City Lord. Now, however, I am shocked as I look at this email, and a thought even pops into my head. Have I been cultivating for too long, causing a slight hallucination? What kind of being is he? Let alone hallucinations. Even if a true god skilled in soul illusions were to personally visit the primordial universe. Therefore, everything described in this email should be true. At only 30 years old, he cleared the trial tower. The law of wind was acknowledged, as were the laws of space and time, the laws of water and fire, and the other lower-level laws. It's just a stellar-level child. The Lord of Chaos City took a deep breath and used his permission to order the Mechanical Universe Lord, who controlled the virtual universe. I want to investigate them personally. Emails, videos, and a large number of records appeared in the Chaos City Lord's mailbox. The Lord of Chaos City knew everything about Lu Chuan, a disciple of the venerable Ganwu, a stellar-level martial artist, a human soul. His progress in the laws is incredibly rapid. From Lu Chuan's records, the Lord of Chaos City discovered something very interesting. That is, among the geniuses who are expected to rank in the top 1,000 in this year's Genius Battle. Furthermore, the Lord of Chaos City even investigated information about Babata and Huyanbo, the discovery that Earth was the final resting place of the barely marquised but immortal Huyanbo. With so many kings, marquises, and even venerable figures among humankind, wouldn't they cultivate even more geniuses? These people are all very young, the oldest being no more than 100 years old, and judging from the situation, they have only recently received the cosmic inheritance. The Lord of Chaos City's eyes flickered, but he quickly suppressed the thought. But the most pressing issue is how to deal with Lu Chuan, this monstrous genius. Such a prodigy is now capable of sitting at the same table as us. With a slight thought, the Lord of Chaos initiated a meeting of the highest levels of humanity. Because the virtual universe had sent the emails in advance, the highest hall for mankind. The person in the lead was a giant, with a full head of white hair, who looked like a savage. He was the strongest human being, and the only true god, in the race, the Giant Axe founder. What do you plan to do with this genius, Lu Chuan? Giant Axe asked succinctly after looking around at everyone present. Otherwise, given his temperament, how could he possibly waste time presiding over this meeting? He still needs to search for the most powerful treasures in the Cosmic Sea. I guarantee he'll receive the best treatment, said Pengong, the Lord of the Cosmic Galaxy Bank, with a smile to the Lord of Chaos City. This battle of geniuses was organized by Virtual Universe Company, so he has no standing to stand on either the moral or legal grounds. Placing Lu Chuan in the virtual universe is the best choice. For the Lord of Chaos City, doing what is beneficial to his race is the top priority. Lu Chuan joining Virtual Universe Company is clearly more beneficial to his growth. We've all known each other for a long time, so who doesn't know whose temper? Such a genius, while not necessarily needing to be personally protected, certainly needs to be ensured to grow up smoothly. The Giant Axe turned to look at Chaos and said in a deep voice. The Lord of Chaos City nodded. Having nurtured so many geniuses over the years, he already had a plan in mind, and have Ganwu personally send him to the initial universe so that he can cultivate peacefully there for 100 years. In addition, I learned from the shaman that he possessed the golden horned beast, which means he has the secret technique of creating clones, and send him to various cosmic kingdoms. As for the Realm Lord, we will need everyone to provide a treasure that can enhance life genes. Let him settle down for a while before going to fight and gain experience in foreign lands. And it won't be too difficult for him to fight against ordinary universe venerables. The Lord of Chaos City spoke clearly and logically, and he also helped Lu Chuan conceal the information about the abnormality of the soul. Although everyone here is from the highest echelons of humanity, and there is no possibility of betrayal. This is for Lu Chuan's sake, and to ensure his growth. All right. I didn't expect this little guy to have a clone technique. When he becomes the Realm Lord, I'll summon him to see me and bestow upon him a soul protection treasure. Upon hearing this, Giant Axe nodded in satisfaction and said with a smile, the clone technique signifies that Lu Chuan will become the ruler of the universe, and humanity will have another fearless ruler of the universe. Maybe in a few years. For the Giant Axe, this would undoubtedly allow it to share the burden of the human race that it carried. Regarding Lu Chuan's arrangements, many universe masters only offered some symbolic suggestions. The specific plan was still to be arranged by the virtual universe company itself. The alien races will certainly not sit idly by and allow another universe master to emerge from the human races. These universe masters will all have to perform their duties and even intimidate other alien races. This has been the norm for hundreds of millions of epochs. Of the 4 top races, whichever produces a genius renowned throughout the universe will face assassination attempts from the other 3 top races. After assigning their respective tasks, many powerful consciousnesses left the virtual universe and began to busy themselves in reality. Just after everyone had left, the Lord of Chaos City specially kept the founder of the Giant Axe behind. Giant Axe assumed that the Lord of Chaos City had some special arrangements for him, so he chuckled and said, "What's wrong, Chaos? That's not impossible, but the other old guys probably won't care too much. The strongest being in the universe is impressive. But which of the other top races doesn't have a strongest member? Even though the Giant Axe possesses great strength, it has been lying low for a long time. He wouldn't rashly reveal his secrets just because of a tiny bit of hope." The Chaos City Lord shook his head slightly, a strange glint in his eyes. Just before the meeting was held, he made a special trip to investigate things about Earth and discovered some anomalies. But he couldn't get away for the time being. There are some problems with Lu Chuan's hometown. This will be related to how we cultivate these geniuses in the future, the Chaos City Lord said in a deep voice. He didn't mention it at the previous meeting because he was afraid that the other universe lords might have bad intentions towards Lu Chuan. But what if Earth's predecessor was related to the Yan God clan? Traitors to humanity. Many cosmic lords within the human race harbor deep hatred for Emperor Yan, especially the Lord of Ice Peak, who has even attempted to kill Emperor Yan multiple times. The Lord of Chaos City wasn't worried that these universe lords would target Lu Chuan, but since the facts hadn't been investigated thoroughly, this is not a good thing for Lu Chuan, nor for humanity. It is also because he is the strongest being among humankind today, and the backbone of humanity. I will go back to Earth as soon as possible. But no matter what problems arise, I hope you can still do your best to nurture them. The Lord of Chaos City smiled and nodded. Don't worry, I naturally understand this principle. If he is truly suited to the great Tao of time and space, I will personally take him as my disciple and teach him. The person with the strongest understanding of the laws of spacetime is none other than the Lord of Chaos City. Even the Giant Axe is inferior to the Chaos City Lord in terms of spacetime secrets, a fact that can be seen from the Chaos City Lord's title of Chaos. Although the Lord of Chaos City did not succeed in fusing the 10 great laws, he did comprehend them all. However, lacking sufficient secret techniques, he remained at the level of the Lord of the Universe. Haha, I trust your chaotic nature. I'll go check out Earth then. Giant Axe laughed heartily, then disappeared into the virtual universe. However, before he left, messages were sent to various parts of the virtual universe, including those from the Venerables. Within the virtual universe company, the 9 Swords Venerable, who hosted the Genius Battle, and even the Dry Witch Venerable received information from the Chaos City Lord. The numerous immortals stared in disbelief at the electronic screen in the air, their faces filled with astonishment. I actually cleared the trial tower. Humanity's long-standing records were successfully broken in their presence. Suddenly, a figure in a blue battle robe appeared in the sky above the square. The person who arrived was none other than the 9 Swords Venerable. who had received the message from the Lord of Chaos City. After solemnly erasing the image, he sternly addressed the immortals below. You must all remember not to reveal anything about what happened today. Otherwise, the tribe will definitely investigate. You certainly cannot bear the consequences. The information about the virtual universe genius battle will not be broadcast to the outside world. So theoretically, Nine Swords Venerable also knew that this information could not be completely concealed, and Lu Chuan's points for clearing the trial tower would definitely be exposed. But this does not prevent the community from banning these immortal messages. These immortals had personally witnessed how Lu Chuan cleared the tower, and even saw the secret runes that Lu Chuan had gained the recognition of the law of wind. Once this information is exposed, the alien race will surely go crazy, and the assassinations will become even more intense. The immortals slowly recovered from their shock. Upon seeing the extremely sharp gaze of the Nine Swords Venerable, their expressions suddenly hardened, and they all responded loudly. The Nine Swords Venerable nodded slightly. These immortals were trained by various cosmic nations, and their loyalty and trustworthiness were quite good. Is there any secret that stays hidden forever? The alien race will definitely stop at nothing to get information. Over 1,000 people. It's not easy to ambush them. Nine Swords Venerable sighed inwardly. The Nine Swords Venerable no longer took the matter to heart. All he needed to do was delay. The later the information was revealed, the greater the benefit to humanity. When Lu Chuan cleared the trial tower, a white light completely enveloped him. However, somewhat unexpectedly, the white light did not teleport him directly to the plaza. Just as Lu Chuan had been waiting in the open space for nearly an hour, doubts began to creep in. The Nine Swords Master has finally been teleported here. As soon as the Nine Swords Venerable appeared, he spoke directly to Lu Chuan, saying, "The following arrangements are now in place for you. End the virtual universe genius battle ahead of schedule. Become a member of the primal secret realm. As for your rewards, you will have a total of 100 years of cultivation in the initial universe, plus 10 opportunities to comprehend. No less than 30 billion for the Domain Lord level. No less than 1 trillion for the World Lord level." Lu Chuan was not surprised by the Nine Swords Venerable's frankness. This reward is pretty good, at least 10 times the points of each original Tangshan mountain. And it seems that it will be directly distributed at each stage. And this is only the material reward. Lu Chuan narrowed his eyes slightly, feeling quite satisfied with the reward given to his clan. Venerable One, I agree to the clan's arrangements. But I have a condition. The reason for going to the initial universe later was naturally for the sake of his clone. He couldn't allow his main body and clone to be in the same place. Although the venerable god of dry witches has no shortage of dry worms, that does not mean he can demand unlimited amounts. If you can handle something yourself, it's best to do it yourself. Ganwu owes too much debt, and he fears that the more favors he owes Ganwu. Actually, it's nothing. Lu Chuan values relationships very much. The main problem is that the dry witch venerable is incredibly unlucky, and he's also very stubborn. It would be better not to give it at all. Upon hearing Lu Chuan's conditions, the Nine Swords Venerable's expression remained unchanged. He simply nodded and said, "But as a disciple of the ruler of Ganwu Kingdom, you must be aware of the sordid affairs among the 4 major tribes, so it's best to get to the primordial universe as soon as possible." "I know." Lu Chuan nodded slightly. By the time he successfully creates his clone, the final selection process for the trial tower will probably not even be over. In that short time, the alien races won't be able to obtain specific information and arrange for assassinations. In that case, you can leave the virtual universe now and break through to the cosmic level as soon as possible. This will give you greater benefits in the initial universe. After saying his final words, the Nine Swords Venerable teleported Lu Chuan away from this special plane. This made his expression somewhat complicated. He originally thought he could shine in the genius battle, like the other protagonists, becoming a legend throughout the universe. He survived assassination attempts by alien races and grew into the strongest being. The truth is that the race immediately covered up the information, then decisively arranged for him to come to the primal secret realm ahead of time, and asked him to go to the initial universe as soon as possible to protect his safety. The strongest geniuses in previous years were only able to become kings or immortals, and even venerables were rare. The selected geniuses are only occasionally glanced at by the alien races. They are not targeted for assassination every time. Otherwise, the resources consumed would not be enough to make up for it. Even knowing that it would be leaked sooner or later, We should still try our best to give the genius time to grow. Lu Chuan murmured to himself, then completely withdrew his consciousness from the virtual universe. Lu Chuan suddenly opened his eyes, then focused his gaze on the imposing figure in front of him. The venerable Ganwu nodded with a complicated expression. He never imagined that a disciple he had taken in by chance would be able to accomplish a feat that would break through billions of years of human history. Probably only a matter of time before he becomes a powerhouse of the same level as me. It's even highly possible that he could surpass his teacher. It's just that the surprises brought to Ganwu were far too many. You can use them with confidence. Breaking through to the cosmic level is more important. The shamans put aside his thoughts and took out a large amount of resources from his world ring. These are resources that can quickly accumulate body energy and assist in breaking through energy levels, similar to nutrient solutions. After all, nutrient solution is a widely available resource, while this is a collection of a venerable one. Lu Chuan's eyes lit up as he looked at these resources. However, his current life gene count is 50 times that of an average person. If we really let him accumulate energy on his own, it would probably waste a lot of time, which would be a very unnecessary waste for a genius. He won't even need long before he can raise his cultivation to the 9th level of the universe level. This is a special space I created using a secret realm. After leaving these last words, Ganwu left the secret chamber. Breaking through a cultivation level is a private matter, and he couldn't possibly stay here and watch Lu Chuan break through. Lu Chuan didn't try to stop him. After exhaling, he swallowed all the floating resources around him. It was the life genes deep within his body that took effect at this moment. These immense energies were absorbed by the genes of these life forms and transformed into resources for breakthroughs. A large amount of energy surged into Lu Chuan's body, instantly shattering the 9 tiny stars within his dantian. A magnificent nebula then reappeared in the area of his dantian, almost unaffected by the environment. Ordinary universe-level beings only have a lifespan of 10 epochs, while my life genes are 50 times that of theirs. So I should have a lifespan of 500 epochs, which is longer than that of an ordinary domain lord. As Lu Chuan sensed the surging nebula and genetic energy within his body, he thought to himself, if lifespan is finite, no matter how powerful you are or how great your achievements were, you will eventually become an insignificant speck of dust under the relentless erosion of time. If those emperor-level figures, whose combat power is unparalleled throughout history and who can obliterate the great Tao, knew that I have such a long lifespan, they would probably fight their way through the boundary sea. Lu Chuan chuckled inwardly, then dismissed the thought from his mind. But for someone whose immortality is a foregone conclusion, an increase in lifespan might bring him a moment of joy, but it wouldn't bring him any further benefit. I've broken through another major realm. I should at least get a decent entry, right? Lu Chuan murmured to himself before opening the entry panel. It's somewhat like the laws of the primordial universe. While pondering whether there was any connection between the two, Lu Chuan observed the entries appeared in a sea of entries this time. It seems that, in the system's view, cosmic level strength is still considered low level, and the chance of it appearing as a gold level attribute is still extremely slim. Thanks to the benefits of breaking through to a higher realm, 2 red entries still appeared in the sea of entries this time. Finally, it grabbed the red entry on the right. Innate sword body red. Possessing the innate sword body grants you unparalleled insight into the way of the sword. Another entry related to physique and creation techniques. Lu Chuan raised an eyebrow and then opened the entry panel. Insights into the laws. Law of wind 18.5%. Law of space 3.93%. Peak bloodline purple. Pioneer purple. Dual realms of ice and fire purple 50 out of 50. In terms of high-level physique attributes alone, he possesses 3 attributes of purple rank or higher: behemoth body, peak bloodline, and dual realm of ice and fire. The types of creation methods are also quite similar. The 3 high-level entries, understanding the heavens, creator, and god of laws, are all effective for creating laws. It seems that his path to the true god is indeed unobstructed. Perhaps when I was at the world lord level, I was able to create the ultimate secret technique at the level of a universe. When Feng was a world lord, he only created the ultimate secret technique, and that was only because he was forced to. Otherwise, when he was a world lord, he might not have been able to create the ultimate secret technique. How many years has he been cultivating? It's only been a little over 10 years, but now it already boasts so many advanced terms. He has no idea how extraordinary his talent will be by then. Lu Chuan casually loaded the innate sword body attribute onto his panel and resumed his dedicated cultivation. His clone should be able to be conceived in less than half a year. He needs to use the resources given by the venerable Gan Wu to raise his own realm to the 9th level of the universe level. They now possess combat power at the 9th level of the cosmic realm. With his remarkable understanding of the laws and his secret techniques, he might even be able to challenge a world lord-level martial artist. This will greatly help Lu Chuan in comprehending the laws and creating secret techniques in the future. The trial tower assessment is still ongoing, but many geniuses have already finished this year's genius battle. However, upon seeing the name ranked first, some geniuses secretly gleamed with an unusual light and sent special emails to unknown humans. They did not intercept the emails, but waited for the opportunity to uproot the intelligence network. While humans and alien races were secretly battling each other in the virtual universe, the newcomer was none other than the founder of the giant axe. With the spatial coordinates created by the immortals concealing it, and the strength barely enough to be a marquise. It's a pity he perished in this desolate wilderness. A figure resembling a wild man arrived in the solar system. His physical body traversed the void, and his dreamlike eyes, like a galaxy, gazed at the void before him. By reversing time, he saw everything from the past. Unfortunately, even if you are resurrected now, you still cannot repay the debt owed to your race. Moreover, it seems that you are still in contact with the 4 people on Earth. The giant axe restored the surrounding space-time, but did not resurrect Huyanbo from the past at this moment. As the leader of the tribe, reviving Huyanbo would be an easy task for him. But how could the other party, with his barely enfeoffed strength, possibly repay the loss to his clan? It would be better to let the 4 people on Earth grow into masters of the universe. And Giant Axe turned his gaze to the blue and beautiful planet ahead, a smile spreading across his face. Within a special dimensional space, the Lord of Chaos City and the founder of the Giant Axe sat near a huge table, facing each other. The Earth is very beneficial to the mind and will. The Giant Axe pointed at the Earth model and said with a big smile, "This discovery is almost equivalent to a top-tier treasure. And it's the kind of top-tier treasure that can continuously bring help to humanity." The Lord of Chaos City did not respond, but asked with some curiosity, "You talked to the Mount Sin sitting zest for a while." The Giant Axe didn't hide anything and said directly, "Earth belongs to humanity, and he won't interfere. However, he will need the people of Earth to do something for him in the future." The Lord of Chaos City nodded slightly. The ownership of Earth belongs to humanity, and the humans on Earth naturally belong to the human race. As for the native humans, the land will be allocated to them. The defense of the star system will also be the responsibility of the 5 major powers. Each of these Earthborn geniuses, including Lu Chuan, will be compensated with a sum of Hunyuan units. The Lord of Chaos City began dividing the Earth. Such a precious land, which is extremely useful to the community, could not possibly be given to humanity alone. After all, he is the leader of humanity on Earth, and he should have the right to know. Giant Axe agreed to the Chaos City Lord's plan, but made another request. Lu Chuan's talent was already enough to attract their attention. But after the Giant Axe traveled back to Earth, it's possible that the other party could actually become a true god, in order to prevent Lu Chuan from developing hatred towards his race. After all, Earth is his homeland, but now it has become a bargaining chip in a transaction. Isn't it a bit hasty for a cosmic level being to discuss the ownership of Earth's most valuable treasures? Will other powerful individuals harbor resentment because of this? Believe me, Chaos, his value may be greater than that of the Earth. Let's relax the requirements a bit. Because of the disappearance of the original ancestor, the Lord of Chaos City regards the human race as his current hope. Even Koti was one of them. However, due to the rules and the clan's constraints, the Lord of Chaos City did not give him a single soul-related treasure. Not even an ordinary soul-related treasure. The Lord of Chaos City naturally understood what the Giant Axe meant. Upon hearing this, he fell silent. Lu Chuan felt the power within him, reaching the 9th level of the cosmic realm, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. His energy reserves are extremely abundant. If he wanted to, he could break through to the Domain Lord level at any time. No rush. Let's take our time to settle down and see how Virtual Universe Company trains me. Instead of pursuing a breakthrough now, Lu Chuan focused his attention on the world within his own body. There was a huge golden figure, about 20 miles tall, with a body like a white cloud, radiating powerful energy fluctuations. With the teacher's support, I can completely upgrade the Shiyun clan clone to the World Lord level. The reason why Luo Feng progressed so quickly was largely due to his ability to create clones. Others are at the universe level. Luo Feng is at the Domain Lord level. Others are at the Domain Lord level. Luo Feng is at the World Lord level. His progress would not actually be particularly noticeable. Lu Chuan also has a clone, which can completely replicate Luo Feng's experience. Moreover, his talent is even higher than Luo Feng's, and his progress will only be faster. Perhaps reaching the combat power of an immortal military lord is not too far off. A message suddenly came from the smart assistant. Lu Chuan looked at the message in the email, his face showing a blank expression. Even if he cleared the trial tower, even if he was already a core member of the Virtual Universe Company, but it's impossible for him to be invited by the Lord of Chaos City at this stage, right? I even told Luo Feng and the others to hide, but I didn't expect the biggest weakness to be me. Lu Chuan gave a wry smile as his consciousness entered the virtual universe. A familiar teleportation force descended upon him, and with a dizzying sensation, he appeared in a special dimensional space. Before them was a long conference table, with enormous thrones on either side. At the very front of the conference table, two enormous figures sat on their thrones. The voice continued, "I am the creator of the giant axe, and this is the Lord of Chaos City. You can just call us that. We investigated your background and followed the clues to find this planet, Earth. Lu Chuan, are you aware of the special nature of Earth? It really is related to Earth. But what can he, merely at the cosmic level, do when facing the two strongest beings in humankind today? Even if the two agree, what about the other powerful beings? What about the other universe lords? His death is likely just around the corner. Humanity already has the traitor Yan Di, and it is impossible to allow humanity to have another traitor. So, should I agree to both of them? Having lived on Earth for so long, and with the memories of his previous life, he had long regarded this Earth as his home. How could he face his parents and Luo Feng if he were to hand over his hometown to others? Lu Chuan did not show it on his face, but looked at the two of them in shock, and then said with a sense of resignation, "We actually have some guesses about the special nature of Earth. Besides that, the four of us cultivate at an extraordinary speed and possess a certain talent for comprehending the laws, which is quite unique in the universe. Earth's uniqueness is so obvious. Couldn't say he knew nothing at all, so he could only vaguely reveal some information." Instead, he continued along with Lu Chuan's topic, saying, "As you said, Earth is indeed very special. But that's not why we're looking for you. The reason I came to find you is because Earth is a life-bearing planet personally transformed by the strongest being in the universe. Remember, this applies to all newborns, not just those of you Earthlings. If a clan wants to cultivate World Lord level powerhouses, it only needs to accumulate resources. The more resources it has, the more World Lords it can cultivate. But immortality won't do. It must also possess sufficient talent and comprehension of the laws. Talent in the mind transcends all other talents. It encompasses everything and can enhance everything. Comprehension, laws, will, and even consciousness, these things are all encompassed within the mind. This will greatly increase the chances of immortality." The explanation of the giant axe was very long and detailed. For the strongest member of the tribe to say so much was already a great honor for Lu Chuan. Lu Chuan was also quite surprised by the great god giant axe's high regard for him, as if he were regarded as an equal. Giving it up would be too cruel for us, for all Earthlings. Giant Axe breathed a sigh of relief. Since they were willing to talk, everything was negotiable. You Earthlings can still live on the continent. As the strongest being now, you will receive the largest share, which includes a supreme treasure. Your teacher is a shaman. You can ask him later and he'll tell you how precious this treasure is. Lu Chuan's face remained expressionless upon hearing the word treasure. What's the difference between this and the conditions Luo Feng negotiated in the original story? It's just that the compensation is more generous. Lu Chuan took a deep breath. This time, even when facing the two human powerhouses, Giant Axe and Chaos, he put on an extremely serious expression. Giant Axe had a smile on his face. Only after 1,000 years will Earth be given back to our race. Lu Chuan held up one finger, his expression extremely serious. Even for the strong, it's not a long time, let alone for the universe in a race. With sufficient strength, 1,000 years might be enough to make the Giant Axe and Chaos completely abandon their plans for Earth. After all, their shared philosophy is to cultivate strong individuals and nurture more immortal beings. Wouldn't that be worth tens of millions of times more than immortality? By then, no matter how special the Earth itself may be, it will be meaningless. When the Lord of the Universe arrived, the giant axe personally returned Earth to Luo Feng. But becoming an immortal with Overlord-level combat power is still something he can try. This is the source of Lu Chuan's confidence. Giant Axe glanced at Lu Chuan in surprise. Even if you become immortal 1,000 years later, your race will not give up on this. Unless you become the Overlord of the Universe, there might be a sliver of hope to win it over. The Lord of Chaos City spoke up from the side, his tone carrying a hint of warning. Sake of his hometown, this wouldn't be a good thing for Lu Chuan. This is also not a good thing for the ethnic group. In response to the Chaos City Lord's warning, Lu Chuan simply smiled and replied. He had great respect for this Fifth Order, Universe Lord. But the Chaos City Lord had indeed made a mistake regarding Earth. The Lord of Chaos City was not angry at Lu Chuan's sarcastic remarks, and simply said calmly. Lu Chuan said with a firm expression. The Lord of Chaos City smiled slightly and said nothing more. Giant Axe glanced at Lu Chuan approvingly, then smiled and said, 1,000 years is too short. I'll give you an entire era. As long as you can satisfy both of us within one era, neither of us will spread the news about Earth. Allowing more newborns to join us on Earth is the best choice for our race. If you don't want the Earth to be polluted, then do your best to show your potential. Lu Chuan smiled. If he had an entire era, he could do even more, and becoming a hegemon-level combatant would be a certainty. Lu Chuan truly believed that Giant Axe and other high-ranking humans had no selfish motives in this matter. But a system is still a system. If the Earth's landmass had always belonged to Earth's humans, then Luofeng wouldn't have targeted other branches of humanity that migrated to Earth. The problem is that these other humans have been secretly violating the original agreement. They have far too many loopholes to exploit. In their eyes, that's where the profits lie. This is an insult to humanity on Earth, and a disappointment to the human race. That's why Luo Feng later strongly demanded that his race return Earth. One era is enough time for me to face all enemies except the Lord of the Universe. Lu Chuan murmured to himself, and then a preliminary plan came to him. Once the problems of Earth are solved, Giant Axe and Chaos did not leave Lu Chuan in the virtual universe as possible before moving him out of the special plane. Lu Chuan quickly left the cultivation chamber and found the venerable Ganwu outside. Teacher, I need energy resources to upgrade to the level of a realm lord. Lu Chuan respectfully addressed the venerable Ganwu. So far, he possesses only tens of thousands of chaos units, which is already a considerable fortune for ordinary people. But that's still far from enough. Lu Chuan himself has 50 times the life gene, while the Shi Yun clan clone has 180 times the life gene. These tens of thousands of mixed units cannot sustain this for long. Only Chao Ganwu demanded it. Even if Ganwu is the foremost among the cosmic sovereigns, his wealth still exceeds that of a king of immortality by billions of times. Any one of his treasures is more than a king of immortality could earn in a lifetime. Once you leave the initial universe, you can easily earn hundreds of thousands of points by completing some life and death trials. By then, you will have further refined your cultivation level and will be able to purchase the resources and secret techniques you desire. The shaman did not immediately agree, but instead asked with a slight frown. Having just broken through to the universe level, Lu Chuan actually wants to break through to the realm lord level. In terms of resources, rushing to achieve breakthroughs will only damage your foundation and affect your future potential. Teacher, this is a decision I have made after careful consideration. Lu Chuan said solemnly after a moment of silence. Ganwu's brows furrowed even deeper. Once they make a decision, it's impossible for them to change it because of a few words from others. In other words, Lu Chuan was determined to achieve a breakthrough quickly. But you have to promise me that if you discover any problems, you must stop trying to break through. Ganwu sighed, but ultimately decided to agree to Lu Chuan's request. There's a problem? How could there be a problem? His current understanding of the laws is already at least at the 7th level of the bridge to heaven. He is confident that he can break through to the 8th level of the bridge to heaven in a short time. Then came the stages of Domain Lord and Realm Lord. Reaching the 13th or 14th level of the heavenly bridge possessed by an ordinary primordial secret realm master will be a piece of cake. Before leaving the initial universe, I might be able to clear the primal Tongshan mountain. Then I can go to the outer battlefield to obtain great treasures and opportunities within 1,000 years. Lu Chuan thought to himself, and then accepted the resources given to him by the sorcerer. In fact, the Virtual Universe Company also provides these resources, but it's impossible for him to receive them all at once. Moreover, he would have to go to the Virtual Universe Company for various verifications. But it's a different story if you ask a sorcerer for it. They exist in a state where one suffers and all suffer, one prospers and all prosper. Ganwu knew he possessed a secret and a clone, and that the other party had placed their hopes of repaying the debt on him. After taking the resources, Lu Chuan returned to the cultivation chamber. I will not leave this place until I reach the Realm Master. The geniuses, who had just won the Virtual Universe Genius Battle, arrived at the headquarters of the Virtual Universe Company from all over. Here, they finally met in reality. Luo Feng, Rongjun Hong, and Lei Shen gathered together, curiously, looking around at their surroundings. Luo Feng didn't find any familiar figures in the crowd, so he asked the person next to him with some curiosity. No, he doesn't seem to have even been to headquarters. Rongjun shook his head slightly. Huh? I hope Brother Lu won't get into trouble? Luo Feng asked with some concern. Since the day he cleared the trial tower, Lu Chituan has been like a ghost. For several years, I didn't even contact them in the virtual universe. There's no way something will happen to him, Rongjun said with a smile, showing no concern. That person is a once-in-a-millennium genius. How could anything happen to them? The higher-ups of humanity would never allow it. He then saw a golden passage suddenly appear at the headquarters of the Virtual Universe Company, from which two figures emerged. One of the figures was imposing and exuded a powerful aura, while the other figure was slightly petite. Luo Feng actually recognized the figure behind him. Luo Feng looked at Lu Chuan and exclaimed in surprise. To be able to teleport to the headquarters of the Virtual Universe Company, this person's status must be quite high. Rongjun's attention was focused on the towering figure next to Lu Chuan. The headquarters of a superpower would naturally not allow others to teleport or teleport at will. There are regulations governing this. They are either powerful, unreasonable, invincible geniuses who have been granted the title of king, or ancient rulers and their revered figures. Thank you for escorting me, teacher. As a cosmic venerable one of the Virtual Universe Company, Ganwu naturally has the qualification to be teleported to the Virtual Universe Company. He was also worried about being assassinated by alien races along the way. So, he decided to personally take Lu Chuan to the headquarters of the Virtual Universe Company. The venerable Ganwu waved his hand, then glanced at the headquarters and Thunder Island deep within, a hint of sadness flashing in his eyes. Aside from being resurrected, how many years has it been since I last came here? Never mind. I'll have a good chat with my friends after I pay off my debts. With 9 swords venerable, other venerables, and the Lord of the Universe present, Lu Chuan was unlikely to encounter any danger. To avoid encountering his creditors, he must return to the Ganwu Universe Kingdom as soon as possible. I'm going back to the Ganwu Universe Kingdom now. If you need any guidance, come find me in the virtual universe. The figure quickly disappeared into the starry sky. Lu Chuan understood why Ganwu had left the headquarters so quickly. Luo Feng spotted him, and he also spotted Luo Feng and his group. Luo Feng is already at the 2nd level of the universe level, and his understanding of the law of metal is much stronger than when he was in the genius battle. As for the law of space, although Lu Chuan has not been able to sense much of it. After all, this is Luo Feng. Even so, Luo Feng was still incredibly weak. Madman Master Thor, long time no see. Brother Lu, how did you break through to the Realm Lord level? Luo Feng looked at Lu Chuan and asked in shock. It should only have been 4 or 5 years since I parted ways with Lu Chuan, right? Lu Chuan smiled, but did not directly answer Luo Feng's question. He lowered his gaze, and a huge golden panel appeared in his eyes. Realm, Body Realm Lord, Level 150 times Life Gene. Time Cloud Clan Avatar Realm Lord, Peak 180 times Life Gene. Self-created secret techniques. Wind and Flower Sword Technique. Immortal Level Peak Secret Technique. Wind Annihilation Domain Immortal Level Peak Level. Insights into the laws. Law of Wind 87.5%. Law of Space 12.03%. Currently loaded entries. Enlightenment to the Heavens Purple Gold. The Power of the River of Time Purple Gold 100 out of 100. His profile picture has undergone a dramatic transformation. Why have things changed so much? Lu Chuan focused his attention on the newly appeared purple gold entry, the power of the river of time, and adjust the current flow of time according to the state of consciousness. The current maximum adjustable time flow rate is 10,081 times. The consciousness of a mere world lord is enough to allow Lu Chuan to activate an ultra-high time flow of 10,081 times. Most importantly, the entry activation is accelerated without any energy loss. This means that Lu Chuan can enter the river of time at any time to comprehend the laws. Lu Chuan drew this when he broke through to the Realm Lord level a year ago. In other words, he had actually cultivated for an entire era in the past year. This is only the factor of my forced comprehension of the laws. Otherwise, with the Chaos Monument and the battle, one epoch would have been enough for me to break through to immortality. The only pity is that the system does not recognize the accelerated time. The entry extraction time is still based on the original universe. If we take accelerated time as the standard, then he could extract the entries of an entire epoch. Is there any entry that's even more powerful than the purple gold entry? Let's get back to the main topic. Lu Feng closed the system panel and turned his attention back to Luo Feng and the others. You don't need to follow my example, especially at the universe level. There will be many opportunities in the various secret realms. These are things that everyone tacitly understands. So there's no problem telling a few people. Seeing that Lu Chuan did not provide a specific explanation, Luo Feng knew that this matter was probably not easy to discuss. So he simply changed the subject and asked Lu Chuan. Lu Chuan smiled and nodded. The initial universe revealed the laws, which is of great benefit to comprehending the laws. Moreover, the initial universe also contained the insights into the laws left behind by various powerful beings, with the support of the flow of time. Perhaps it won't be long before he possesses a level of understanding of laws and secret techniques far exceeding that of ordinary people. If it does, 7 days is equivalent to nearly 200 years of cultivation. The 52 Chaos Monuments are humanity's greatest treasures, containing the complete understanding of the laws of the universe by the Lord of the Universe and the Overlord of the Universe. Becoming the Overlord is inevitable, and even becoming the Master of the Universe is not impossible. After all, humanity has more than a dozen Universe Lords, and the chaos steals they left behind are all direct insights into the laws. We were just about to ask Brother Lu for some advice. Clearing the trial tower is an unprecedented record for mankind, Luo Feng said excitedly. Standing at the Realm Lord level with the River of Time entry, Lu Chuan prepared to enter the initial universe alongside his old companions.